Hey team, welcome back to a new video. Happy New Year to everyone that's joining the video today. If you've never seen me before, my name's Tom Granger and I am a self-diagnosed cold email expert or enthusiast. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to cold email in 2023. Because if you have a service-based business, if you're a coach or a consultant, or potentially have a SaaS company that offers services to people, or you just run a software company, then knowing how to cold email and build cold email systems is going to skyrocket your business in 2023. The reason for this is it's going to help you have a pipeline full of qualified leads that are interested in buying your service. And when you have a full pipeline, then you have abundance. You have the ability to pick and choose who you work with, meaning that the clientele that you do bring on is qualified, wants your service, and is easy to work with, which is going to make your life easier, their life easier, and everyone's life easier. So understanding how to cold email is such an important task. Now, this is going to be a sort of basic guide or an introduction to cold email. So if you have cold emailed before, if you know how to cold email, if you're experienced with cold email, this guide probably isn't for you. But if you have never cold emailed before, then this is a really good introduction, and we're going to take you through some of the building blocks, some of the steps on how to do it really, really successfully. So we're just going to move through these slides really quickly, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to define your ICP. And this is a really, really important step. And what I mean by ICP is your ideal client profile, in case you weren't aware. So you really need to work out, who are you reaching out to? As in, what do they look like? Where do they work? What are their pain points? Where are these people based? You know, you've got to work out things like geography. You've got to work out things like status. What position are they within a company? Are they a solo entrepreneur? Do they work within a corporate entity? You've got to work out all of these things, and you've got to write them down. And this is the profile of the person that I'm reaching out to. And once you've done that, you need to define their pain points. And their pain points are anything that they may be struggling with in business. So for a lot of people, they're struggling with time, or they're struggling with increasing revenue. These are the two major pain points that you should focus on and target with cold email campaigns. So you need to work out where your solution fits in with that. Does your solution save people time, or does your solution increase revenue? Ideally, it does both, because then you've got a sort of double-edged sword. And you know, you're sort of killing two birds with one stone, and this is fantastic. And then also, finally, it's very critical to assess this before you start sending a cold email campaign. Do your prospects use email? Now, the reason I say this is because if you're targeting a lot of local businesses, or potentially like trade businesses, like, I don't know, carpenters or roofers or anything along those lines, then cold email may not be the best medium to reach out to these people. And instead, you should probably cold call them. But if you're targeting anyone in a more office-based job, or job where they're required to use their computer, or, you know, just business where it's mainly online, then cold email is definitely going to be the right angle for you. So the first step in the cold email process is defining your ICP. Next thing here is the setup, and it's really important that we have solid foundations to set up the cold email campaigns and make sure that everything is running smoothly. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to buy 10 plus secondary domains that are similar to your main domain that you have. So let's say that your main domain is business.com. Let's just say, for example, your secondary domains will be trybusiness.com, gobusiness.com, experiencebusiness.com, those sort of things, thebusiness.com. Once you've done that, you need to set them up, because these domains are fresh, they're cold, and they need to be sorted out properly. So you're going to set up all of the DNS records, the SPF, the DKIM, and the DMARC. You can Google guides on how to do this. It's really, really simple to do. They also need to be warmed up for a minimum of 2 weeks. The reason for this, as mentioned, these domains are cold, they're fresh, they've never been used before, so they need to be warmed up. They need to have a reputation built for them. So you want to add them to a pool, a warming pool, things like Instantly, Warm Up Inbox, Lemlist. These guys all have their own warming up pools where you can add a domain to it, and it'll send emails back and forth with other domains, build a reputation, so that when you do start to send cold email, you know they're landing directly into the inbox. You also want to have a profile picture for every inbox that you're using and every domain that you're setting up. The reason for that is it's just going to help you stand out more in the inbox. It builds trust, it builds rapport. Someone sees your face straight away and they can connect those words with you instead of just an anonymous email account emailing them. So add a profile picture to every domain and every account that you set up. You also want to have a really simple landing page. This does not need to be difficult at all. This does not need to be a big task, and you shouldn't be spending hours and hours on it. Honestly, I'd recommend just using Card or something like that. And you want to have a clear title that calls out your ICP. And what I mean by that is your ICP that we defined in that previous step. You want to have a title that calls out them and then calls out their pain points. You also want to have a video sales letter, and this is literally a 2 to 5 minute long video that very quickly explains the process of what you do, who it's for, the results that you can achieve or have achieved if you have done this previously. And then you want to ask them in a call to action at the end to go ahead and book a call. And there should be a booking function beneath that video that they can simply click on and go ahead and book their call. And also social proof. Now, social proof is really, really important. If you don't have any, then you can still be successful with cold email, but it just makes it a little bit harder. You want to be getting results on that landing page, showing exactly what you've done for clients and businesses that you've worked with. You want to show that your service, your SaaS, your coaching, your consultancy, whatever you guys are doing is successful and has proven results. Again, if you don't have it, that's fine. You can still continue. You can still do cold email campaign. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. But the moment you get that social proof, get it on your landing page and make your life a lot easier. The next thing, once we've defined the ICP and once we've got everything set up, there's a 2-week lag period between warming these domains up and starting the campaign. So you've got some time to prepare and get things ready. So you're going to want to scrape leads that match your ICP. And these are 3 common sources of lead generation and databases that you can use in today's world. Now, there are others out there, but if you're just starting out or just in general, these are probably the 3 that you'll use or need the most. So we've got Sales Navigator, which is LinkedIn's database that you can buy for, I believe it's about $70 to $90 per month or something like that. You've got Apollo, which is $99 per month, and then you've got Store Leads, which is about $200 per month, I believe. So Sales Navigator and Apollo are really good for service-based businesses or just general businesses, any sort of normal businesses, whereas Store Leads is purely dedicated to ecom. And the reason I've added this in is because I believe a lot of you guys that are watching this probably have some form of e-commerce focused agency, whether that's a paid ads agency, email marketing agency, TikTok agency, something along those lines. So Store Leads is a really good source of e-commerce leads. Now, just having access to these databases doesn't give you the relevant information that you need. You need to be able to then scrape that information and put it into a CSV file, which you can plug into the LM list, those sort of things. So you need something to scrape it. Now, I personally use Find Email, which you can see right here. And this natively plugs into Sales Navigator and Apollo, so you can directly scrape from those databases, which is fantastic. And then you can also upload leads from Store Leads, because this will give you the sort of domain information, but it won't give you, and you get sort of generic emails like info emails, business emails, but you want the email of the founder or the CEO. So you can take a list of domains, you can plug it into Find Email, and then they will actually go ahead and enrich that data and add in the relevant information. So you can scrape from Sales Nav, you can scrape from Apollo, and then you can also add Store Leads to Find Email and scrape. Once you scrape these leads, Find Email does say that they're validated, but it's always good to validate your leads as well. So you can use things like Neverbounce, emaillistvalidation.com, because what you want to do is ensure that the emails that you've got in your list that you're sending to are valid, they're validated, and they're not going to bounce, because we don't want a high bounce rate with cold email because it increases your chance of landing in spam. Now, I have included another software called Wallaxy here. Wallaxy is a LinkedIn scraper which actually plugs directly into Sales Navigator. Now, if you want to move on from cold email, or if you want to have a separate campaign running in the side for LinkedIn, Wallaxy is a really, really great source for doing that. So you can go ahead and search your ICP within Sales Navigator, and then you can scrape it using Wallaxy. Once you've got everything set up, you've got your lead list, you're going to need to go ahead and start writing cold email copy. Now, this is a very basic sort of 6-step guide to having successful cold email copy. It's not perfect, but it'll give you a good foundation of how to structure it, because once you understand the structure of a good cold email, it's a lot easier to chop and change and add information here and there and test things out. The number one thing that you should be focusing on is making it short and direct. You want it less than 100 words, maximum 3 to 4 sentences. The reason for this is because the people that you're sending emails to are generally getting hundreds, if not thousands of emails every single day. So you need to convey your point. You need to convey what you're trying to offer these guys in a very short space of time, so that they can read it in like literally 2 seconds and understand exactly what you're offering, and then decide whether they want to reply or not. You don't want to be sending over heaps of information. You're basically just trying to elicit a positive response, so you can do that in a very short, simple way. Other things you want to do is call out pain points. Now, when we're defining our ICP that we did earlier, we're working out what their pain points are. Is it that they're not making enough revenue? Is it that they're wasting loads of time doing a task that could be automated, or whatever you guys offer within your service or SaaS or coach or consultancy? You want to call that pain point out within the email itself. And this typically happens within a question. So for example, with my lead generation business, I ask people, are you struggling to book calls at the moment? Or would an extra 2 to 4 qualified calls per week be beneficial to your business? Because I'm calling out a pain point without technically calling it out. It's almost suggesting that, would this be beneficial to your business? So use this, call out their pain points, and get directly to the point within the emails. You also want to use a soft call to action. Now, the reason for this is because, as I mentioned, people are getting hundreds of emails a day. If they accepted every single request for time on their calendar, these people would have absolutely no time to function. And within your first email, you don't want to be getting people booked onto a meeting straight away. That shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should be to elicit a positive response so that you can convince them down the line to then go ahead and join a meeting with you guys. So using a soft call to action like, is this of interest? Is this worth exploring further? You're going to get an understanding of how interested your prospects are within of your service itself. Also, you want to be adding social proof. Again, if you don't have it, you can still be successful with cold email. It just makes the job a lot easier. You want to be getting in as much direct social proof that is relevant as possible to the prospect. You also want to be personalizing as well. And what I mean by personalizing is adding things like their first name, their business name. You could add products from their store. You could add their location, anything that you can personalize it that looks natural, that looks like, it was just automatically written there, not like it was just sort of automatically placed within the email itself. You want to make your emails look as natural as possible. So personalize it. And this also helps out with deliverability as well. Now, talking about deliverability, we're going to cover Spintax as well. And if you want a more detailed view on what Spintax is and how to utilize it, I'm going to make a video on that in the near future. So stay tuned for that one. Now, Spintax is pretty much a way of spinning the syntax within your email copy. So syntax is just the way that words are placed within a sentence or within a body of text. So Spintax is a way of spinning that. So you're basically saying the same thing, but with different words. Now, the reason you want to do that is cold email is typically a mass form of outreach. You should be sending thousands of cold emails every single day. And if you're sending thousands of templated cold emails every single day that look the same and aren't really that personalized, then your email service providers will start to penalize you, because to them it looks like you could be potentially sending spam. So Spintax is a great way of getting around that, because it ensures that every email you send is slightly different. Now, depending on what cold emailing software that you use, whether that's Instantly, whether that's Lemlist, there's different ways of adding Spintax. Just look at the sort of guides and it'll tell you how to add Spintax. But once you start with Spintax, it's quite addictive, and you can really just spin the whole email so that it says the same thing but uses different words for that. Again, it's going to increase your deliverability, and it's also a great way of testing out different phrases within the email itself. If you notice that one specific phrase is garnering a lot more response than another, then you can double down on it. You can cut out all the other ones and just focus on that one. Oh, once we've got the leads, once the domains are warmed up, and once we've got the cold email copy written, we want to go into the launch and testing phase. So you've wrote your cold email scripts. You should have at least 3 scripts or 3 different angles to test. And what I mean by angles is different ways of presenting your offer. You want to have at least 1,000 cleaned, qualified leads that you've verified, that you sure are matching your ICP. You want to have at least those 10 domains warmed, and you want to set each of these domains. So you just have, typically I have 1 email per domain. You can have as many as you want, but I just keep it to 1 email per domain. I have 50 emails, campaign emails per day per domain. Now you want to start sending these cold emails. You want to launch a campaign, and congratulations for getting to this point. And then from here is really just a process of monitoring the analytics and monitoring the results that are coming in. You want to be looking for between a 50 to 70% open rate. You want to be looking for a 3% plus reply rate, depending on industries. 3% is quite low, but depending on how jaded your industry is, it really depends. You can get reply rates, up to 50-60% if you're launching a cold email campaign in a sort of blue ocean industry that hasn't been targeted, or you have a really, really fantastic offer. And it really is this point from now on that you want to be looking and finding the angle within those first 3 angles that beats this minimum benchmark. If you find something that's outperforming all the other angles, you want to take that and double down on it. And that's what we're going to cover in the next stage. Next stage here is called scaling season, and this is where we're going to run a little bit of competition with the winning angles themselves. So let's say that you have one of the 3 winning angles is performing really, really well. You want to take that angle and then you want to write 5 more winning angles and winning scripts that are very similar to that one but slightly different and has a different bit in it. And the reason for that is because we want to test all of these ones and then find a really winning script that's absolutely killing it. If you build all these 5 scripts and one of them outperforms the original winning script, you know you've got a winner there. And then what you want to do is take, if let's say that 2 of them are performing really well, combine them, write a script that's working really, really well, and then you've got a winner right there. Once you've got your winning script, it's time to scale up the cold email campaigns. So you want to go ahead, buy 10 more domains, warm them up for 2 weeks and add them into your campaign. This will increase the volume that you're able to send. Let's say that you've got 10 domains sending 50 emails a day. You're sending 500 emails per day. You add 10 more, you've just doubled that to 1,000 emails per day. You want to then go ahead and scrape at least 10,000 leads, maybe more, matching your ICP. And then you want to start sending 1K cold emails every single day. And I guarantee if you're sending 1,000 cold emails every single day, at a minimum with 3% reply rate, you're going to be booking in multiple meetings per week for your business. It's just guaranteed. Some extras that really, really help with your response rate with cold email, because it's not just about sending the cold email campaigns. It's a little bit more complex in 2023. You need to have and start building a personal brand. And the way you can do this is having an optimized LinkedIn profile that says exactly what you do, has proof on there. You look like you're alive on there. You're commenting, you're talking to people, you're posting valuable content, you're building up a sort of brand for yourself. You've got followers. It looks like, you're a trustworthy person. Another way you can do that as well is by starting a YouTube channel and putting out content that's valuable to your prospects. That's what I'm doing right now. And then you can also build things like Twitter or other social media platforms where there's lots of business people talking about business, and having a personal brand on there is really, really powerful. But having a personal brand and being Googleable, so when someone searches your name up, if they receive your cold email and they search a little bit about you before responding, you want to be the first result on Google. You want to be your YouTube channel, your Twitter, your LinkedIn profile up there so that someone knows that you're a real person and you do exactly what you say you do, because it makes them trust you a lot more. So this has been a sort of basic introduction and basic guide into how to write cold email, how to set up cold email, how to scrape leads in 2023. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments, any questions at all, let me know in the comment section below. But get those cold email campaigns set up. It's January the 1st today. If you go ahead, buy those domains and start warming them up, you can start sending cold email by mid-January. And I promise you by March, April, May, you'll be coming back to this video and going, thank you so much for telling me to do this. My business is completely transformed. And if you follow just the basic guides that I put out today, you will find success with cold email. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.